Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again. It's a new Sunday, new chapters are out, and we got a full line of team to have a whole conversation about these new coming chapters. We will be talking about that emotional My Hero Academia chapter, the meh of Black Clover. I don't know. I've not read it, not caught up, nothing, so I have no idea. And the interesting, well, a lot of information from JJK. So, okay, there's a lot to cover, and of course, soon we'll be able to do more later on. But for now, we're gonna be just still be doing our three. So let's just go right ahead and see our faces, people. Hey, we live. We here. We are here. We're Shonen Ronin. We are here to talk about the new Sunday chapters of manga, and a lot to cover. I wish we could also cover One Piece too, but that could be to
We
be
getting there.
determined.
We getting there.
Yeah, to be determined. For
But
now,
Sam, what we're talking about today? Which ones are we hitting up?
all right, we're hitting up JJK chapter 156. We have My Hero Academia 324, and we have Black Clover 304.
You got
All
that.
right.
Yes, we do. Yep, definitely was a good show. We unfortunately we couldn't have JB with us. He's helping out a friend doing his recordings, and
He's being a better friend than me. That's okay. Good job, JB. Good job, JB.
and Vash is has a emergency going on right
Yeah,
now. So
Vash is taking care of his home life.
Look, to be honest, I have an emergency too. I should probably go back.
Yours was self-inflicted.
Yeah, yours was self-inflicted. You knew what you had to do tomorrow.
I forgot what I had to do tomorrow. Okay, like it's not all my
Oh
fault.
my God. So what's up, Dizel? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. What's up?
yep. What's up, man? Denzel, thank you for being here. Yep, we're all technically still in our morning phase in a kind of way, but still.
It's morning time. I mean, for some of us, it's a little in the afternoon for the rest of us. It's all
Yeah.
good. So I mean, hey, do y'all mind if we just get Black Clover out the way?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was going to recommend that too.
Real
That
with you.
that jaw needs to be.
And
out
Sam, I
of
want
one
you
or
to
three
stay
chapters.
here because this is.
It's
All right.
so is it like it doesn't even matter if I'm being spoiled? It's just nothing happens.
Nah,
It does
it
not
doesn't
matter. And you know why? It's because he chose to not have anything happen.
Yeah, it was
mean-
a very like lackadaisical chapter. It was. I don't want to say corny, but that's how it felt to me.
I won't say corny. It just felt what's the word? Unfulfilling.
Yeah,
Like it happened, but I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that happened, and I'm like, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, they're just complaining about Black Clover again. I'm not complaining about Black Clover. I am just wanting more from Black Clover.
Last
That's it.
week's chapter of Black Clover, gas. It was
mhm.
lit. This week's chapter, it was. I mean, we got the conclusion of what we discussed last week.
And we got some closure.
We got closure, but then it was just like, all right, let's resort. You have Noelle knocking the shit out of Asta a couple times. You have
just for the LOLs, I'm sure.
just for the LOLs. You have a confession of love, which
Which I guess I kind of wasn't anticipating, but it makes sense.
And it's like, okay, but then you look at it, it came off. If this was to be animated, it would feel like a filler episode. Honestly, it would feel like a filler
And I
in terms of most of the content.
I won't go that far. I won't say that it felt like a filler. It feels like it took the urgency away from the situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Too
what
much,
it is for me.
too much time being given to Noelle. They're like, oh my God, Asta, oh my, it's dork stuff. Oh, I don't know how to talk to him. It's like, oh, we still at this point.
I mean, we're
300
still at this point, but then also with like multiple characters, because Noelle doesn't know how to talk to her sister.
Yeah, it's just like
Noelle doesn't know how to talk to Asta. Period. Still, Asta is still just oblivious as ever, which is like that's Asta though.
Now
And
Lola doesn't know how to talk to Gaja, and which understandable because Gaja's confession just again was kind of out of the blue, and then Undine, the spirit is
Yes.
like, hold on, what's going on
So
here?
I will say the thing with Undine is like, okay, I'm like, well now Lola Peshka doesn't need you because she's got Gaja, and so
Yeah.
now she can go, she can stay with our girl Noelle. Is my hope, like honestly, because now Lola Peshka has somebody else to take care of her, straight up.
and then Notch pulled up and was like, "Hey, ain't nobody gonna live. You know, it sucks, but it's
That's
life."
literally like I think Noct is all of us. I think Noct is literally us.
Notch was like,
hey.
"Yo, people die. You know, that's okay." And then Mimosa pulls up, and it's like,
he's like, that's the reality. And then Noel's like, "No, bro, I'll show you what I got, and it's literal magic." And I'm like, "Well, I guess you're right.
and
It is literal magic."
Mimosa basically saved everyone that should have died, and so again, there's no like really hard consequence. And then they're like, "But let's go back to the last member of the Dark Triad."
Which I'm fine with, because this is what I've been waiting on. I've been waiting on this, and I was like, finally, that's cool. Mimosa had her moment of like, she literally just used like a legitimate life magic to literally like save lives. And I'm like, oh, okay, that is ridiculous.
Which makes sense given her ability, plant magic. You know, I'm not surprised by it at all. It's just like, when
Spicy, what did you think of this chapter? Just from the context of us talking about it.
It seems very, like you guys already like, I guess, lax. It's just like bare minimum, I guess. I don't know.
It felt like, all right, it was like, all right, I'm going to give you these dire situations, but then remind you the story about magic, and I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Literally what Tom was saying.
You just reminded me a whole entire D&D session. Oh no, this character died. Nope, revive 5. I bring him back to life.
So, I mean, that's kind of what Black Clover is. It is a giant D&D set.
Yeah. Where the DM is like, hey, I'll tease you, but I won't kill you. Now, mind you, I am a DM.
Unless I need to. Exactly.
I'm willing to kill you guys. I don't actively go out of my way to kill
fun,
you. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. So
but if you make dumb decisions like someone who's not here, then at that point, if you die, that's all on you.
I feel you. But it's just like I get it. Like this is like honestly, it's like Thomas reminded us. This is my story, and I'm gonna tell it the way I want. And I'm like, that's fine. And I don't have to like every part of it, but overall, I like it. It's just
And honestly, I think for me, like, yes, it's been 300 chapters. I think I just have to adjust my expectations a bit.
Exactly.
And it's not a bad thing because I still will read Black Clover. Overall, I still enjoy Black Clover. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy it. I like the story. I like the characters. Yami is dope.
That's what I'm waiting to come back, bro. I need more Yami.
So I think it's just more so I can't have the same expectations that I come in with this one as I may come in with something like Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, where there are lasting consequences and you can't reverse those consequences. And as such, you know, like I said, I'm still gonna enjoy Black Clover. It's just I gotta understand that consequences aren't always as serious. Mind you, the writing is still pretty solid. Like, I enjoy the whole Nozel thing, although
I do
it
too.
seems
I want
kind
more
of
of that.
awkward. Yeah,
I want more of that.
I'm looking forward to that, like, redemption story or that, like, that coming of siblings again that we're going to get, especially when it comes to the other two who
like that
don't know anything. Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for that family being restored.
That one is going to be funny because they're going to be like, wait, Nozel, like, all of a sudden you cool with Noel? Like, I thought she was the ops. And it's going to be, now family, we got to sit down.
This is what it is. I'm going to tell you the truth now.
So I'm looking forward to when we get to that, if we get that at some point. Ultimately, now we're going to go back to the last Zeno. We're going to go back to Zeno and his fight with Langrish and and it's like,
I'm curious about what Tom's is about to do with Zeno, because, is his golden boy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is about to be the one that one-shot the Supreme Double, or, like, is this where we're really going to see some despair happen? Like, for real.
I mean, we'll see despair and then they'll get,
because
like,
isn't it just later. And Langrish that are fighting?
That's what it seems like. I thought it was more, but
I thought there was somebody else there.
If
not,
like
I guess it's when they about to bust in and help them. Next chapter is what I'm assuming. So,
especially now that they're all fully healed, and it's just like, all right, let's get that.
Right, Mimosa literally just healed the squad. Like, I'm like, they're like, we're fine now. They got
what? Like, Scar's hurt. Gaja, who was literally like kissing
had a hole in him. He had a hole in his gut.
He is now like, hey yo, Lola, I love you.
It's
not
like,
as a leader,
I'm feeling good now.
but as you as a woman, I love you.
And
it's
I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute. Yeah. But y'all still got a Supreme Double to deal with. So chill out.
It's not over. It's not over. And then, of course, we still got Dr. Morris. Nobody's paying attention to Dr. Morris.
Nobody. And I was like, wasn't Nox supposed to be going to help with that? Like, what the hell are you doing out here? but okay.
So it's just like, all right. But yeah, we'll see. Next week, I honestly do feel like next week will be more fulfilling than this week's, of course.
I mean, like
But
this week wasn't bad, of course, because
Yeah.
it really finally gave me the close on this ridiculous thing with
Yeah,
Noel.
it's-
Like, finally, that's done, and Noel can now move on. Which I'm like, okay, good. Like, give us more Noel development outside of this person. Finally, like, I'm excited about that. But no, I mean, overall, decent chapter. It's just like, oh, okay. I guess they're gonna need that. Like, I feel like he only did it because they're gonna need literally everybody for the end of this. Because I remember I was talking about it last time we talked about this when they fought Word Double, they literally needed everybody in the kingdom, and so I'm like, it makes sense that they are gonna need all these people yet again. So I'm about it. And yeah, like I said, it was mediocre, but it wasn't bad. So yeah. I feel you.
Like, I'm not gonna say like this is the worst chapter I've ever read in my life. It's nowhere near that.
I feel like
just,
you guys always tell me like every 2 chapters it's like
yeah,
nothing
it's
happens.
like it's good, and then it's like you know,
and I mean,
it's too inconsistent.
It is the inconsistencies, but it's like it's never bad in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It goes from great to okay, and, you know, back and forth. So,
yeah, it's never gone from great to like, oh my goodness, awful.
It's still definitely worth reading, and I feel like this would be one that if somebody binges this, it's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a great bingeable arc, straight up. But week to week, it's kind of like,
yeah. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I said that I might have to start binging this where, like, every couple of weeks I might read, like, maybe every 2 weeks I'll just catch up. I honestly feel like I might have to go.
I don't know. As a group, I really want us to kind of decide with Black Clover. Like, do we want to, like, we have to pick a number of chapters that we want to build up, or, like, ask the community, do y'all want us to keep reviewing Black Clover weekly, or is it okay if we just kind of have, like, a Black Clover special every few weeks?
Tell us in the comments down below, or
let us know.
chat,
I'm curious to know what y'all think. It's like, yes, I love Black Clover, but it's also like, I just want to give it some time to kind of get resolved.
That way when we
Mm-hmm.
talk about it, is less of like this and more of like, yo, this shot, like these series was. We don't want to have to keep just.
Wait, I don't want to keep doing it. I don't want y'all to come in and be like, oh, that's just, you know, it's the same tone again. You know, so like just let us know. Because I'm of the mind that we kind of give it like a month at a time. We let it go a month. We get 4 chapters build up, and then we come back to it. So,
I'm down with that. If the community's down with that, it sounds good.
So let us know. But I mean, if we're good, Abe, I'm ready to jump into JJK.
Yeah. JJK should be next. Yeah,
I'm ready.
All right, yeah.
So what y'all think of JJK?
I was taking notes.
There's so much information. There's so much information.
I was like, okay.
JJK, sometimes you gotta take notes.
Because when there's a name for something, you have to look it up to understand the meaning of that name and how it signifies into the situation. And that's what I was doing with these constellations and these words and what the rally tally thing. You know, I was like, it's a lot. I was like, okay.
It was a lot, but I was like I was saying before in our pre-show, just kind of shoot the shit. Gege is one of the best writers when it comes to explaining an ability. Like, by the time I was done reading this chapter, I fully understood this ability and its complexities. I was like, yo, this is dope. I love the way this man's brain works, and I'm so excited for him to get to those super high-level, ridiculous abilities that we're going to get in this Cullen game.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so, like, it really just got me excited for that, because I'm like, think about the detail of this super... From the just the look of it, simple technique to the actual complexity of it was intense, and I loved it. But Spicy, go ahead. Well, tell us about some notes you took.
Well, so I looked up like what Amai, Crooks, and the Crooks and all that stuff. Like, you know, like I learned that I think Amai means new resident, and I think he put that on Panda. It was just interesting, and the Crooks was on Megumi, so it was just nice to like see all of that and like the constellation, the star constellation, and how it was underlying on top of another star constellation. I was just like, this is crazy. But I loved it. I agree with you, Ray. I loved the explanation of it. Like even when Gege explained the whole Culling games, I was like enthralled in there. It was a lot reading, but it was entertaining. So I did like this chapter, and even in the end, how he was like, oh, they figured out my attack. It wasn't done corny. It was done to where it was like, yeah, like we've been figuring out along with this.
Yes, it wasn't like, thank you for saying that, Spice, because we get into these series where like, oh yes, I looked at your attack once and I understood. It's like, no, it took them a while, but like they figured it out, not just a piece of it, the whole thing, and it was beautiful. Golly, yeah, keep going.
And I know, but I love that. But again, it's like that goes to how Gege debunks a lot of the shonen, like tropes, like those kind of things. How he's like, yeah, let me explain, let me allow the reader to figure out along with the characters, and actually, doing little segment things. When he used the bunny escape, Megumi was testing out theories, and him and Panda. I really enjoyed that, like figuring out along with the reader. So I like that. That was cool. And Panda was adorable in this chapter.
Panda was being a panda, and I was like, makes sense to me.
Oh yeah, it was wholesome. Earlier we had talked like, all right, so when we gonna get to the calling games and whatnot, and I totally understand the need to get back to the main story. Like this is basically a detour, and part of it is because he had to take the break, and I'm pretty sure he didn't want to just end on the culling game, go MIA and come back. But what I will, I guess how I'll tolerate these next few chapters is basically, like you guys mentioned, we're learning about other people's curse techniques, because these are possibly going to be players in the game, and you kind of want to get that out the way, because if you spend time explaining everybody's abilities as they come up in the calling game, it's really going to drag the calling game out. It's going to be a lot more wordy, and we know, similar to the Shibuya incident, how it was a lot of action. The calling game is going to be a lot of action, and you can't be constantly breaking that up with like, hey, let's go into explanation of some of these important characters' abilities. So we're getting to knock that out now, and I feel like we'll probably get a couple more chapters with others knocking that out before we dive into the calling game. So when he goes, it's like, all right, we kind of have a better idea of how this works. It's not like, yo, wait, Gege, how did Kurara do this? Like, how is he whooping ass? I don't get it. And then next we gotta get like 5 pages basically explaining the ability. So I'm cool with it. It just shows just how much effort and creativity is being put into this series. Because these curse techniques is very easy for you to get lazy with this curse techniques and give us some half-ass bullshit. But you're actually giving us some substantial and some interesting ass stuff. Like Kurara's ability is interesting as hell, because it seems like, yo, this thing is OP, but there's a way around that, but you gotta be able to have time to figure that out.
And that's why the higher ups didn't want to be bothered with that, because they want simplicity. They didn't want to do all that.
And they literally, you're right, they literally said that. They were like, oh, well, their abilities are too complex. I don't really care. And I was like, oh, well, that's lazy. But it's like they're showing us why these sorcerers are like really important, because this ability is, in theory, super simple, but it is incredibly useful when it's applied properly.
And like, especially when you don't know, it's like, wait, there's a certain order you have to go through in order to get to whatever Kurara is trying to prevent you from getting. You gotta be able to start, and it's perfect that Megumi was the one to come up with, because Megumi is the brains. He's the brains. And even then, it was like, oh, I only get. He admitted, he's like, I only know so much. Like, all right, based on facial expressions, I was able to guess this, but that's all I know. And he's like, wait, aren't there 4 points in the constellation?
In the constellation,
it's not working. It must
By the way, 5. That is ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculously good intellect, like,
right?
on his part, because I'm like, I would have never thought of that, bro.
No, constellations. Yo, I know my basic. I know the Big Dipper. I know Big Bear. I know
Megumi was
Orion,
like, by the way, I'm gonna show y'all my big old brain.
It's just like, okay.
What I will say is, I did call the wolf. I'm like, Megumi didn't cancel that wolf, so I knew the wolf was still around.
I had no idea.
Knew it.
I had no idea. I was like, oh, that boy's smart.
Megumi is really showing himself to be a solid strategist.
I mean, Gojo said it, bro. He's the one that could beat Gojo, and I absolutely believe it.
His own daddy took him almost up to kill him, because he was like, "You the strongest one of everyone here. You the strongest one."
And so, it's not just in his ability. That brain is huge.
And it goes back to Sukuna has always had his eyes on him, and even more, it's validated even more.
For a reason. I mean, it's one of those things where Gege's doing that thing, in all good series where you're making the side character more interesting or just as interesting as the main character. I love Itadori. Don't get me wrong, Itadori is a great kid, but Megumi's just way more interesting. Like way more interesting for a reason. And I'm like, that's fine. So because like we haven't had to have Itadori front and center because he has all these other super interesting characters, including Kendall, which is hilarious. So I'm like, we're gonna get there, but golly, I'm ready to get on to the next part of this. I love this, but I'm ready to get on. I'm just impatient. I'm being impatient.
Yes.
I just want to get on to the game and see what we're about to get into for real.
Because like next chapter, we have to go back into
Hikari. Yep.
Hikari's ability. Like have a whole clarification of what can he really do with his curse abilities. So when he brings out 2 windows or something like that. And like if it's most likely he is going to be in the
something about the fever.
Oh yeah, but we already know he's gonna be for sure in the culling games. Who knows? We don't really necessarily know because we know Gege can literally off anybody at the right time and moment.
At any moment.
Yes.
And be like, oh, you thought one of the strongest of people was gonna go in. Nope.
You snatch it away, but thank you. Enough.
I mean, and to me, that's kind of like the style of storytelling that I appreciate because that means that this person has a story in mind and has basically understood where they're going to be at every point in time of their story. So yes, while these characters were important at this point in time, they're no longer necessary to the actual physical progression of the story. And so he makes their sacrifice not only worth but interesting. Yeah. That's the thing. You can kill off a character, but if it's not interesting, what's the point of killing off a character?
Yeah, I agree. It's like it's also when you least expect it as well, because like how you make it least expected and interesting at the same time. It's more like, all right, we already know this guy is like the tank, the more bigger person that is gonna be hard to take care of. What if I remove him from the board? Now you have to think smarter and strategize
still
better.
Very wild to me. It's like I forget. Like sometimes I forget Gojo's gone. I love Gojo. He created a fantastic character in Gojo, and he was like, oh yeah, by the way, my story is still hella interesting without one of my most interesting characters.
Yes, because I mean that character is also one of the most OP. Where it's like a lot of this could be, as we saw when we got to see him in action, is like, okay, we can't have Gojo all the time.
And then,
but Gojo, he's like a pinnacle point in all of like the sorcerers. All sorcerers depend on him to uphold this level of balance. So what would happen if Gojo was to be taken out? Like everything will fall apart. So who's gonna step up? Who's gonna come into the fold? So
that's why I love that Horikoshi and Gege are friends because they both did something really similar.
Yeah.
He was like, what if I take my best character and basically get rid of him?
I mean, he'll still be there on the plane, on the floor, but...
They still exist, it's just they're no longer as important as they were, and now the story has to figure out what it needs to do while they're gone. And I'm like, how do you fill a vacuum when, like, you have a big player taken off the board, and the vacuum has to be filled? What does the world do in response?
Adapt and get bigger. Adapt and get bigger.
It kind of goes back to what's her name, Toto's senpai, how she was trying to figure out cursed energy and the two factions, how they're split, because how they should deal with cursed energy and sorcery. Like all of these issues were underlined because Gojo can take care of it. So now like that's still there. It's always going to be there whether it's someone's empire or not. So now Gojo's gone. Now it's like, okay, how do we come together like with these differences that we have on cursed energy? And goes back to the calling games, how this whole thing's being started. So I love it.
There's a lot. There's so
much.
It's a lot,
but I'm excited. Like, and you should never really buy into things based on their potential. But God dang, am I excited about the potential of JJK's story with this color game? Like, just please give Gege the time to tell his story. My God, please.
So the thing what also Gege actually also did by taking their biggest card out of the playing field, but after you adapt and fill up that hole, what happens when he comes back?
And that's the big thing. It's like, what happens when Gojo comes back? Yeah. Is it an easy fix, or are we about to see him struggle for the first time too?
Or he might,
because we've never seen. well, outside of the flashbacks, we've never seen Gojo struggle.
Nope.
Mm.
So it's like, well, I mean, I think at this point now he has a bunch of players on the field that can challenge him that he's not expecting. So how is he going to react?
I don't think.
Yes.
I think Gojo expects. I think
Yeah.
Gojo expected all of this to happen. I think that's why he dealt with those old
Even the
heads.
stuff with
I
Maki?
think Gojo.
So-
But the Maki thing won't be. It'll be a boon for him. What I'm thinking is that from the calling games, because keep in mind we got Ghetto, still
Wandering
working his
around.
magic
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's whatever he's planning, whatever he's setting up, that's going to possibly cause Gojo to struggle. I don't think any of these players will specifically, unless we get Gojo out and then he has to deal with like 3-on-1 situations or stuff like that.
Mhm.
And like we already know, like nothing can actually break the culling game. Like once,
Yeah.
Yeah,
once and
once
start
it's-
and before it starts.
Not yet.
As far as we know.
Not yet. So the thing is, it's like the way I kind of like, not predicted, but just like the way I kind of see it is like it's going to take a very complex way to bust this game.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what he does to bust his own complexity that he's built. I can't wait.
Like what I'm thinking is like, could he just be using Gojo to just put him into this game just so that he could see who's the strongest in a way? Because we do know it is
Yo, what
it is
that
about the
info?
strongest.
What if it's,
All right, you're done. You don't. I don't need you in
Well-
the time anymore. There's already a whole entire Japan, literally from every different
I mean,
division.
because I still think that Gojo let himself get captured because he's going to
Oh.
see how this played out.
Mm-hmm.
I still absolutely
Yes.
think that
100.
I think he's going to come out and be like, look, I was tired of fixing everything for y'all. I want to see how the world would adapt.
Plus, he was putting plans in place even before all of this. Remember when what's his name came and found Yuji? He was like, yeah, Gojo told me.
Even Sukuna didn't want to interfere or anything. He just want to sit back and like, all right, I'll let you do your thing because I'm gonna be invited to do this.
I mean, because if you think about it, him and Sukuna are kind of the same. They were bored.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were bored, and so I'm really curious to see what gets them excited. Because we've seen like pieces of Sukuna getting excited. Same with Gojo.
Yes.
He got excited towards the end there in Shibuya, but I'm
Yes.
He's
What-
also
what's really
interested
going
in
on
our
inside
boy. He's also
Yeah.
interested in Fukumi. So
I'm still. they
And
both
yes,
are.
he's very interested
Yeah.
in Megumi. He keeps testing him as if like he's training him so he can fight him to get a challenge. He's like, look, the strongest one here is me and you, and our ancestors prove that. So
But like
take
just
that
because I'm
information as you will.
like, for him it's like
Yeah.
just because I'm interested in you and I want you to get stronger doesn't exactly mean there's other people that also want to get
Yeah.
stronger and
Yes.
more people diversified for me to get fight and everything like that. So
yeah.
it seems like all the superpowers want to challenge themselves to fight another stronger person, but at the same time you have no remorse for who gets in your way and all the casualties and stuff because it's like I don't really
'Cause
care.
I mean,
Yuji's
just
learning
that world. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just that world and how it is. It's a very. I mean, it's been that way since the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
Itadori only survived because he chose to take power.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, he chose to. I mean, willingly or not, he knew that in order to survive that attack, he had to have more power, and so he took the chance at eating that finger. That's what this whole series has been about. It's been about power the entire time.
And then it caused a whole chain effect of him doing something that he didn't want to do and happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not only that, it's just that he created a variable they weren't expecting in the power scale, and that's why they were like, "Oh no, you have to die," because all of a sudden they had this potentially incredibly powerful player that they
Yeah.
And they were like, hold up, that's throwing off everything we had set up, And I'm telling you, people are like, oh well, JJK's kind of boring and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just that a lot of people I feel like set their expectations based on other people's perception or something.
Of course.
And that's fine, but it's like learn to set your own expectations for things. Like hype is real, but like you don't have to give it to the hype.
Yeah.
You don't. Like just if you go into it just with your own expectations, you might enjoy way more stuff. So it's like I love JJK. I'm also not one of the people who's like, oh, this is peak fiction. I don't need to do that because I know there are things that are better than JJK. I mean, outside of this style of entertainment that we enjoy, but it is really good. It is really good, and it's a lot of fun, and that's what matters to me. I'm having a good time. But no, overall, this chapter is probably one of my favorites since we got JJK back.
Yeah.
Because it gave us what I'm used to from Giga, is that very very high level but detailed explanation of something he already created. Like we saw it, and I was like, okay, yeah, you can't touch him, but I'm like, oh no, there's more reason as to why you can't touch it.
Yeah, because like last chapter, it was all about the mentality of Hikari, of how he feels, of everything, of thinking of everything should be a gamble, everything should be a whole casino, everything should be all about the fever.
Because
And now
he's bored.
exactly,
Yeah.
It goes back to
everybody's
Yep,
so
everyone's
bored
bored.
just to do something to have some fun, and it's just.
So I think that's why they're gonna tell them about the color game, and they're gonna get interested. They're like, "Oh, this is interesting."
I think
The
don't they
fever is
know
the
about the
perfect
culling
example of the
games?
fever.
Because I feel like they're gonna do something like do some kind of gambling thing, like all right, who's gonna win? Like
Well,
bets on this, bets on that.
I don't know if they know the details because I feel like it's one of those things where the calling games is announced, but if you're in the area, it doesn't necessarily mean you know about it until it's game time. Because that's what they made it seem like, It's just like, hey, you have until this many days to get the hell up out of the area if you don't want to participate. Because as soon as it's time to start, whether you realize it or not, you win this bitch.
You win.
Yeah.
I mean, and I kind of felt like that was Shibuya, unfortunately.
Yeah,
for
that
us.
was
Yeah.
Shibuya.
It's just there was no warning.
Yeah.
It was like, well, you here, so
Yeah, it's just like, hey, no protection for anybody.
right.
That
You
was
can just be minding your own
but-
business. Oh, you a sorcerer?
What's
You
even
can get
crazier,
smoked
like
too.
they tell you from the beginning, they're not heroes, they're not protection, they're not here for the people and everything. We only give our own network of people the knowledge. If you want to participate, you could come right ahead. Not
Which
get the
is
fuck
really
out.
shitty. But
Exactly.
Still.
yeah. What I did like in Shibuya was like they were like some humans can see like sorcerers fighting, the other one where some people
And
can't. Like,
curses.
curses, like what's going on? They're like, you don't see it. I'm like, interesting, because they're saying like sorcerers are like very few in Japan. So seeing just that, I was like, that's interesting. Some people can see, other ones can't. But yeah, I really like.
And that was what Ghetto's plan this all along. Is only save the
Yes.
people that can see these
Yes.
curse techniques or could be able
Yes.
to use them and all that stuff, because we don't need the normal humans. Like they're just fodder. They're gonna die so easily of any kind of natural disasters or just an accidental disaster. They're not necessarily needed. At least if you were to see curse techniques and be able to use it, maybe depends. You at least have a chance than not being
Yep.
able to see anything, just standing there and get your head cut off by Sukuna and you didn't even realize what's gonna happen. But
Yeah. Oof, man.
Not-
Sometimes I think about that and I'm like,
maybe Ghetto was
so many
right.
people.
Maybe Ghetto was right.
And also that, like, for no reason, bro. Literally for no reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they tried to use the people against Gojo. He was like, I don't care about these people.
Hey,
don't
hey,
give a damn.
people die every day, B.
That's
all
what.
right?
That's basically what Gojo said.
Casualties of war
He was
happen.
like, they're uninteresting, and they gonna die eventually anyway. So let it be a cool way, I guess.
Be like, oh,
Like,
they didn't. They had no idea war has happened. I'm pretty sure if they did know, they could have gotten away. But we don't care about
A
them.
question for y'all though, because
I'll
they say
keep
they're
the
not
losses
good people
to a
or bad people.
minimum,
Yeah.
I'll use
Yes,
like
yes.
0.2 seconds instead of
Yes.
however much time I really wanted to use. I'm gonna try,
Yeah.
but people still gonna get got.
Gojo said, I ain't no hero. I ain't go
Exactly. He's
change
like,
my tactics,
he's like,
friend.
I'm here to protect certain people, but not everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like in reality, ain't that everybody?
Yeah. Yo, that was
here's
that
the
was
thing.
100% Gojo's mentality too. During that train fight, it's like I knew there was gonna be casualties, but if I don't I'm trying to bring the minimum of casualty because of this fight, and I need to win that and stuff like
Like, we
that.
gotta remember this whole thing of saving people. Like, that's what got Yuji started, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when we got Junpei, and that's when he
Yeah.
realized, like, yo, we can't really save everybody. Like, I can try my best, but
and it's like,
we're not heroes.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like it's the question of, do we need to save everybody?
And what sucks is because Yuji
that's not a question that's really like brought up.
Eugene
Yeah.
can't break that. He
Yeah.
can't break that out of his head either. He wants to save everybody too, even though he's living the consequences of like, what if the person you save ends up killing another person,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and now like for you yourself, you just killed millions.
However,
Because we saved you.
Ghetto's actions are forcing them to kind of be like heroes, quote unquote, because it's like, yo, we keep letting him go. He's going to like basically kill everyone. That's not what we're about. Like, we have to adhere to certain rules. We got to take out cursed spirits when they become a problem, because as you remember, everybody got a little cursed.
I mean, like basically, cursed energy and spirits are literally just a part of the cycle.
Yeah,
and that's what we learned from Toto.
Exactly. We aren't trying to get rid of them completely. We're just trying to get rid of the ones that get out of hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, if you throw off that balance, then what's left?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it comes back to that power vacuum. When we get rid of all of the bad, what takes its place? Something worse, right?
So Ghetto's putting them in this role where it's like, oh, you can see like, oh yeah, they are heroes. They are trying to. It's like, no, they just try to make sure that the balance doesn't tip too far in favor to first. It should be in the middle.
It's also like, you know, the Jujutsu High folks were also trying to tip it a little too far.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
they were.
that's why that led to a lot of this recoil where people changed sides and decided, they were like, well, if they're gonna go this way, I'm gonna ricochet to the opposite end.
It's because they've been high in power for a very long time, cutting off everybody.
They keep people where they are because they felt like they could, and they could. And so you have stuff like Mafia and whatnot getting treated like garbage when they didn't need to be. And so you saw what happened to them.
It's more like, instead of killing them, why don't they serve us, forcibly serving us with doing whatever, but never realizing the consequences is what happens when they uprise and they have all these sort of power.
Maki knew all the moves of them people came in and she was like, don't.
Think about all of the hate that she held in her heart for them because of the way she treated her. And we didn't see that before until it came out. And the way that it did.
The trigger.
Oh boy, it was.
Like, the moment they pulled the trigger was her connection of what she feels.
Her sister said, burn it to the ground. I was like,
all right. It like basically gave her permission to act out the way she's felt her entire life.
Yes.
And I'm like,
because her sister was
her
that
last
holding
words.
clip, was that holding clip for her not to go while she was trying to do it the right way, burn the rings, you know, for honor. Little. As soon as her sister said, "Hey,
burn it
it's always
down.
been you, burn it down," she was like, "Say less."
Because that's how important the last words for every certain character that dies. That's Gege knew what to do. Anything he did that for Naname. He did that for. He's trying to do Naburo. I still say Naburo is still alive. She had to say that.
Anime is my favorite.
Because she got hit the same way Maki did. So I was like, I don't think she would.
No, she's
right. I ain't seen my daughter in a minute.
Because I forgot her name, but she used her curse ability to stop still time of the condition she is in.
Yeah, she implied that something can be done, just don't get your hopes up.
Right.
I can do something, but there's very likely that it won't work. But I feel like we won't see Nabara until like the calling game's ready to start.
100%.
Halfway through. She gonna
show up and she gonna. I can't wait to see her come through with that Maki level power up. But I also think he's gonna devote a few chapters to her.
Because like
I truly think he's about to give us some.
Because her abilities,
her backstory that don't add up. And so I'm like, he's gonna give us those gaps that we've been missing. Because there's some parts of that backstory where I'm like.
Because we already know her ability we know her abilities is the key to help take out what's his face ability the villain Yuji's.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. And like because of that certain ability is what created the whole culling game kind of thing. So I
feel like she's going to be integral to like
not necessarily break the entire culling game, but maybe give it a crack so that there's a chance of escaping.
Literally crack.
Well, I mean, not even like a crack, but like winning. I feel like she's gonna be one of the keys to winning, straight up.
In a way, like it gets even more complex because someone who's like high in the rank can make a new rule of the culling games, and like it's more like whoever has the highest points, meaning whoever killed the most people and cursed sorcerers and everything, gets the highest point, and they get to choose what rule to add into the culling game.
What if she finds a way to negate somebody gaining points by killing people? Because there was like no pain in them dying or something like that. I'm like, there's gotta be some loophole. So
definitely.
I'm like, okay, well let's see how this works. But this is why I'm like, okay, culling game time. Let's get to that, baby.
And I'm interested in Megumi's sister and what ability she's going to have
how that's going to work.
Before Gege went on break, every last chapter after the last page. Because there's also Gege also introduced some of these contestants of the culling game and the last page, every last pages of every chapter throughout the entire time so far.
Yep.
We have the whole angel that can live that lived over 1,500 years. And also is the key to break out Gojo's
Yeah,
block.
we also need to get that. We also need to get back to that character because I'm curious.
Yes.
And I'm like, are they even actually going to survive? I feel like they're going to take that piece off the board.
We have the comedian that somehow has similar abilities with Naname, the 70-30.
Yeah.
There's so many other interesting characters, like even with just 1 page, 2 page, and a couple panels of information and story, they become the new interest of the story.
And that's why I'm willing to wait on the calling game because introduce us some more characters, you know, whether you go in depth into explain their technique or you just be like, yo, this is what this person can do. Because it's better to do that than to just start introducing us once the action gets going, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as we know, we don't even know how everybody will come across each other. So we don't know any matchups because it's just basically like, yo, this shit starts. Whoever you come across, or however you want to go about this, go ahead. Like, we know there's going to be factions for sure involved. We know there's going to be specific people trying to get personal vendettas taken care of. And we also know there'll be people completely oblivious, like, what the hell is going on? Oh my gosh, I'm forced to this thing. Either you get cut off immediately, or you got to go through some hard battles and situations. So,
and only one survive, and only one winner technically. So far, what we know, only one winner.
And let's not forget the stipulation. Like, yo, if you don't show that you're gaining points after a certain period of time, you're dead. Like,
if you refuse to play, you're dead.
Yeah.
If you choose, like if you just
there's
choose.
a lot of absolutes in these rules. What are the prefixes that can get around them?
You also can't change these rules either. You have to make a new rule in order to help counter those rules.
That is the most interesting part of the game that's going to create, I think, a whole lot of chaos.
Yes.
I can't wait. Like that part right there. So I'm like, well, I'm just like, how is he going to break my brain when it comes to thinking about how this stuff works? I'm excited.
Because if you can make curse techniques so complicated and complex, you can definitely make this entire game of the whole entire contract of this game so much more difficult than it really is. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But I trust him because he knows how to, because we know, we just said it, he knows how to write information that we can understand, and it makes a lot of sense and it makes us more interesting. So I'm for it.
JJK has the potential that, once this arc wraps up, to be probably, in my mind, one of the more interesting stories we've gotten in Weekly Shonen Jump in a hot minute. There's some that are more fun and way more hype, but JJK is probably still, in my mind, the most interesting.
Yeah.
Just based on the pacing and the story that he's telling. Straight up.
Agree. Definitely agree.
But I mean, any final thoughts before we move on to My Hero Academia and I cry a little bit?
I think we should go on. I think we should go on to our emotional chapter of My Hero.
Man.
Woo-wee.
We have to go.
We fall down. We fall down.
Interesting to go Kanye route given today's situation.
And it's Sunday. I was like,
oh no! And her
all
power,
roads lead to Kanye.
And her power is she can pick people.
Oh man, that's it. Oh, Harkoshi preaching today.
Oh Lord. Oh, My Hero Academia, chapter 324. Oh man, talk about somebody who has way more heart and capacity for love than most people, period.
Agree. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Everybody thought one or two chapters was good for Ochako, for her to just announce in speech, let's let him in. No. That's it's one thing to just, all right, let's let him in. No, give him the whole entire facts, give him the whole entire details, give her her even more of her ideology of wanting to become a hero.
Yes.
It's because everybody's watching these heroes, but they aren't looking at these heroes of what's going on, and they are forced to smile like everything will be all right. I mean, it's simple. She saw their first hesitation of, oh my god, I'm really tired. I need the break, but it's making everybody so happy.
And I think that's the misconception people see Ochako's character. Like, oh, she's wanted for money. And it's like, no, she saw her parents struggle. So she wanted to put she wants to put a smile on her parents' face by not having to see them struggle. So having that go to the heroes, it made sense. It made this chapter sense. And also too, she's not perfect. She said some things to to Toga that she realized that she had overcome that. So it was a perfect.
She realized she was wrong.
Yeah, it was a perfect conclusion on her character that I've been waiting for, honestly, ever since she turned her back away when I need to get stronger. Like, this was that moment for her, and I love that. I loved it.
I mean, in that situation with Toga, she was in a flight or fight mode in a certain way because she's trying to save people, evacuating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like she's been hearing what's been going on with Deku.
That's the thing. You're a hero under pressure. Like, you're supposed to have level-headed. I think that's what Toga was trying to see. Like, how are you going to react in a real life or death situation as a hero, what you guys represent? That's what she was trying to push for Ochako, I felt like.
I really hope, and so at least for me, like, not to get ahead of myself, is I really hope that Toga's hearing this. I really hope that
she's in the crowd.
She's in the crowd. She's in the crowd.
Like, I really hope so. Like, I want so bad for her to be hearing this come from Ochako, like, straight up. Like, God, that would just make me so happy. But there was one panel in particular where Ochako's kind of like recalling her past, and there's the one where she's like, I was always paying attention to like the people when the heroes were doing their job, and it's that moment where you see her looking at them, but then you kind of see the hero kind of like distressed for a second, but then the people give that hero energy to keep going, and the hero's like, yeah, and I'm like, that's it. Like, the heroes are people. It's like they also have a finite amount of energy, both mentally and physically. And stress. I was like, yep, I love this. This is so good.
It was so cute.
It was.
Oh, man.
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. You can talk. Yeah, I'm just remembering things.
I mean, for me, just reading it again, Hirokoshi's showing off his skill with the pen, just the writing. It flowed. I enjoyed the emotional weight it had. My excitement kicked in when you saw Toga's face. That called back to Toga, because I've always, ever since Toga spit them facts during the World Liberation arc, I was like, yo, she's right. Like, we gotta stop looking at this as like, yo, the villains.
She's the problem. Like, no.
The villains are villains, but there's definitely truth to what they say.
They're villains, but guess what? They are people.
Yeah. Like,
it's different circumstances that led them to where they are.
Yeah.
And the circumstances that led them to where they are was like, yo, when the anime covers what happens to Twice,
that's coming up.
That's coming up. That's next.
Yeah, they're like close to that.
Man's Parade is next.
People were a little angry about this last episode because they cut out so much, though.
So I'm gonna be very frank.
Gosh.
I don't care that y'all are mad.
Yeah,
y'all can be mad. That's fine. I don't care that you're mad. I feel like there's a lot of decisions that made them do this. I'm sure they wanted to do a one-to-one, but I feel like there's a lot of decisions that got them to where they are, and the animation is still busted. All right, and so like, hey,
if
y'all
you're not
can
upset, go read the manga. Go read the manga.
I mean, the thing is, you've already read the manga, so like, you already have the story.
Yeah, so I'm content. I'm content.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can be mad. It's fine. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
So
I'm sorry.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I got so excited seeing that Toga panel, and then the next panel that really got me excited was just watching Deku as all of this in their
watching him react to her. Her,
and then just going to these and basically bowing, prostrating before the people, like, forgive me.
Like he did with All Might, like, can I be a hero? The whole
parallel. I was gonna say
parallel.
That was a call. I was like, no, it was a callback.
And like literally saying, like, this is the story of how I became the greatest hero. No, this is the story of how we became the greatest.
And not only that, it was him asking them, "Let me be your hero."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
I was literally walking my dog, and I'm like,
like, yes, we're in the end game now. We're definitely in the end game, and
I had the Leo moment of, they said the thing.
So this is that panel, the panel from behind where he's bowing down. I said this panel right here is very, very powerful
It's
because, like you
so-
mentioned,
it
the
is
callback.
the art, the detail, the faces. Like if you really look at the reactions in the crowd,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
oh
Yes.
my god,
They're all
they
like,
all realize it's like, oh shit, this is a kid.
And
Yeah.
and then the two and then what's his name and the girl that we said I was like, oh, you like those are the shoes I want. I was like, no.
There was a single thug tear that
Yes.
happened when I saw our boy. I was
Yes.
like,
we haven't seen them in a
He
while.
said,
In a
yo.
while.
He said, has to be those shoes.
But
It
so-
has to be those shoes.
It also plays another parallel where
Because
where
that's
Deku
my
run into danger because they need help, and you see Hota, you see the girl all
Keep
coming
running
towards
to
him
him.
because he needed help. It's
Yep,
like
yeah.
great parallel.
Because they
don't make
know
it wrong.
they know what he means to them. They
They
know
know what
he's
he's
not
about.
Yes.
this villain, this monster that people are portraying. And here's another thing that I like too, and it was from one of the people in the audience. He's like, so you want us to be like filthy like him, to be engaging in that filth? And Ochako was like, no.
That
That's
guy's
the
an
thing.
asshole. That
He's
guy
a
was an
hero.
asshole.
He's like,
That
no,
guy was
no.
straight
No,
asshole.
no,
Literally
no.
said, no.
It wasn't. I was actually fucking with it. And I love Ochako's response. He's like, no, we as
That's our
heroes
job. Yep.
are
Yes,
meant to
take
carry
that
our
on.
film.
Yep.
What we're asking is, let us at least be able to wash it off every
Yes.
now and then.
She
I
was
was like,
Pastor Ochako was
And
up
that's
there
why the
preaching.
rain in this is so symbolic. That's why the rain matters here.
We talk so
Yes.
much about the rain.
We're back. We're back at the rain, baby. That's why it matters. Because rain is symbolism for what?
washing away.
Yep.
Wash it away. Rebirth.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
This chapter was really good.
chapter was absolutely busted.
But you know the
God.
crazy thing is, it wasn't even my favorite chapter of the last few days. It wasn't my favorite chapter.
I mean, same. But like, God, this.
But it was really good.
Stuff
It
is
was really
just,
good.
There's so many different stories that are doing so many good things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like this
yes.
is just golly.
Yeah.
This. Ooh, Park Coach is telling. He, like you said, he's a wordsmith, and like it's just
He is.
his stories read different,
Mm.
and they make you feel different. You know what I'm saying? Like, Park Coach is just he's killing it right now. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
last, and there's the page where you can see all the heroes reacting to what she's saying, and like,
Yes.
oh wow, somebody's thinking about us.
Like Deku's mom is hitting the hardest because
Oh,
she also
oh,
listened
yeah.
to.
She been crying
Oh,
since
Deku.
8 chapters.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm sure she's like, Deku, you better marry this girl.
No.
That's my future daughter-in-law, yo.
Yeah.
My future daughter-in-law.
Oh,
Nah,
like,
but then the look on Endeavor's face.
yes,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like, and Deborah's face was like, yeah, damn.
Even the principal, like, look,
So
that
one, that
was
one
the
caught me.
principal. I was like,
People
was
are also
lovely.
saying the guy in the hospital is Aizawa, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I thought was sitting
I
on the
think so,
hospital bed.
yeah.
Yeah, we saw his back.
Okay,
we
Well,
looked at
well,
his back.
thinking about him, because it's like, thinking
Yeah.
about how much he sacrificed.
Mhm.
yes.
He has
Yeah,
no
it-
one left
Like,
around
ain't
him for
nobody.
him.
Because think about it,
Friends
he's
are gone.
lost all his friends.
Because
Yeah.
what she
Ugh.
said at that time is like, yo, us heroes, we go through all this, and who looks after us? And again, Ray, you mentioned it because remember the panels when she was a kid,
Mhm.
and her dad is like, hey, the
Here's
heroes are
the
over
heroes
here.
right there.
And who's
Yeah.
she looking at? Like you mentioned, she's looking at the people in the crowd, the
Mhm.
excitement, the way they're reacting. And then you're talking about, yo, the heroes, they go through all this, they get filthy, they get broken. But who's there? And then we get the scenes of Aizawa in the hospital just by
Mhm.
himself.
Yeah.
And this, we know what he
Yep,
had to
when,
give
when
up.
the
We know what he
heroes
lost.
are hurting, and she's
Mhm.
showing all these heroes that are literally hurting. Like,
Showing
they
Endeavor.
all
We
have
know
so much
Endeavor
pain.
been hurting.
Endeavor
for a
took his
while.
costume off.
Yeah,
Endeavor's
he
in
been
civilian
hurting.
clothes.
Well, I mean, because he knows that he like
Yeah.
the people have no trust in him. He's like,
Yeah.
I can't be seen. I'm not the hero that they want to see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Literally, and he
Yeah.
knows that. And I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
And that's big maturity for him too, because
Exactly.
like, you know, people have felt some type of way saying, you know, we can't forgive Endeavor, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Like I'm not gonna come slide.
And
It's
he's
like, I
and he
get
knows
that.
I'm not gonna ask him to forgive me. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
like, I know I was a
Exactly.
piece of shit.
But we
and-
can't ignore that he deserves a redemption.
Right,
arc.
exactly.
And they've
Oh,
been
yeah.
building it
Yes.
up well, because like even in the he hasn't been fully forgiven yet.
No.
Like it's not like nobody's forgotten. But that
Oh,
scene
yeah.
himself, like you mentioned, him showing up in civilian clothing, because you see
Yep.
Best Genius,
Spicy, you nailed
see
it.
Hawks,
Yeah.
him being in civilian clothing, and him watching and him not interfering.
Yep.
So like
Yes.
he's getting it. He's
Yeah.
getting it.
Because he knew he
Yeah.
would make it worse.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So like, hey, I'm not saying everybody like, yo, you need to forgive Endeavor. When I'm not saying that, but you need to at least respect the redemption arc. That you need to respect the character growth that is occurring with Endeavor.
I mean, and then so speaking of character growth, Ochako literally says it word for word when she's talking about Deku. He's still got plenty to learn himself. He's just a regular high school.
Yes. Yes.
And like,
and isn't that what
how
everyone is saying?
and the same kind of conversation she has.
I ask you people who are reading this story to also remember that.
Yes.
We've been saying that. A regular high school kid. Oh, but he cries too much. Bro.
Well, we know y'all were crying for less at that age.
I'm telling you, for much less.
Stop playing.
Stop playing. At 16, 17, 16-year-olds, a lot. A lot.
Like, don't give me that. Don't act like you're better than this fake person.
Because how she answered everybody is not just for the heroes, it's also for the villains itself. What he needed is your help. Please.
That speech
find in your heart and let him rest and recover.
This is probably one of the most passionate and most important speeches in all of My Hero Academia.
And it's funny, this is the most screen time that Ochako's gotten in a very long time.
And guess what? It is the most important part of this story so far.
Yes.
Straight up. And by the way, her character design in this is probably the best it's been.
Oh yes. Horikoshi was in. She was wiping away.
I think he finally figured out
what to do with her.
Ochako. Like I think he finally figured it out.
Yes,
it took him a while, but I am like he finally figured out this character.
So I think he didn't want her just to be another love interest to the MC. He wanted to actually develop her, and that's why when he had her turn away, he was like, I'm not going to tell her how I feel yet because I have to grow. I love that. So now that we see that, it's like, thank you. Like, she's not just a lover, she's a person.
Had she confessed her love for him up there, I would have rolled my eyes.
Exactly.
No. That was too cheesy. No. That ruined the entire moment and her speech.
She would have done that, and then Toga would have attacked.
No, literally. And I would have
And then the crowd would be like, so you just hold the entire thing just to confess? Nah. Like, what? No, forget you. Kick him out.
Hey, that happened. I would have called off on myself. Hey, no, bro, they right here. Come get me. Because that would have made me so mad. Oh, God.
I bet you people gonna be calling her Sakura now. Like, oh, Sakura.
I even liked her last words for like instead of calling Hero Academy is his home, Deku's second home.
It's his second home.
And then he's like, this place is Hero Academy. Let him stay in his home.
Basically, y'all visited. Let him come back to his home.
Exactly.
Like, how dare you tell a resident of the crib to leave?
Exactly.
When we're bringing you in for safety reasons. Like, hey, don't forget. Y'all forgot who y'all are. Y'all are some quirkless, helpless motherfuckers. And if we really wanted to, we whoop your ass.
I mean, if
but
we all
we're not gonna go that route.
Like, listen, if we all disappeared, this would have been a wrap a long time ago. Yeah.
I love how she went
also,
back to when they first met. How she was like, "It's a bad omen to trip and fall."
And for the people who complain that Deku cried so much, this was the important time to do it in front of the people because he is struggling. He needed help. Can now people come and help me? Like, literally see this? Because nobody was able to do that for Shigaraki.
Exactly.
He was crying in the streets and stuff.
Nobody was there to pick him up. Nobody. And that's like the part of this. And it's like, this is weird. Deku was better than him because he's got us.
Yep.
Like, think about it. Had we just let Deku fall, he would have ended up just like Shigaraki.
He would have turned to Shigaraki right now if nobody came.
That's what I'm saying. He would have ended up just like Shigaraki had nobody come to pick him up like his friends did.
So, his principal. You think I need to know his backstory because I feel like
we need more of his backstory.
I feel like because that scar. What is that scar? What happened to you?
So that scar was from him being experimented on by humans.
Yeah. So when. Well, I always think about that. I'm like, does he have like a vendetta against that? Does he?
He also brings up his same quote from 2 chapters ago, or last chapter. Like, try one step at a time. Try as it might, humanity struggles to make true progress. And it's like it's to remind you that it's so much harder for people to understand that they need help. They need to take that step forward, but they hesitate. They struggle with it. It's hard for them. It just takes one person to help inspire the crowd. Do not
I've never seen him look so dumbstruck. Like he is awestruck. Like he's like those words are like they resonated with him.
Hard.
Or
So
they
it's
triggered
like,
something.
Why? Yeah.
I figured it was a trigger. I think it is a trigger because
Must be a memory.
because he technically put Deku in the same situation that Shigaraki is in. Now let me see if the same effect would have brought back.
Mm-hmm.
They said one step away, and it was like, what are you holding on to? Where that
Yeah, exactly.
quote, that one
What are
quote
you holding
meant
on
something,
to?
meant something to you. So I was like,
Ooh-wee. Yeah, but the moment with Koda, I'm telling you, that single thug tear
man,
dripped real hard, bro.
I'm pretty sure if Eri was also outside with people, she would have came running.
oh, Eri putting that work in right now.
That is somebody we have
healed,
not seen.
She's healing
No,
people.
Eri was inside the UA being with
okay.
the other class 1B.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she was with 1B.
The big three, I think, right?
So I guess I'm ready. I'm like, when are they gonna come out and kind of show their support? You know, because they're all. I'm sure they see all these people out there.
Well, I think
like,
it's a class.
But I feel like it can't be a hero that helps out Deku. It had to be the civilians that needed to.
I mean, which is fine, but it's like now that the civilians have accepted him, I'm ready to see the other heroes come out and show their support. You know what I'm saying?
Not all of them.
I don't think they need to come out. I think that they can greet them inside.
Mm-hmm.
I need Eri to save her hero is what I'm saying.
Yeah, inside. She doesn't need to come running out, like.
Yes, she can.
Well, I think Eri's hero
it's more dramatic in the race.
Well, Eri's hero is Lemillion. Lemillion is Eri's hero, really.
This is also true.
That's really her hero. That's why they had Toga come out.
We know. We know
hero.
Lemillion is back.
Yeah.
So where is he? I need my boy.
I know. That's my.
I mean, he may have recently graduated, but that's still his home. UA is still his home too.
He was out in the field,
I'm sure he's doing literal reconnaissance. Like he's somebody who could like.
Because his abilities are very ideal for that.
So I'm like, I need to know.
And knowing him, he's definitely been training since
I need
all
to know
of that.
he's okay. I need to know.
He is. He's good. My son is okay.
I hope so.
I know he's good.
And we also know that he's more sensible than prior because. Like, mind you, he was the type of guy that, he's not the brains of his group. He had the biggest heart. He had a big heart.
He had the biggest heart, but I feel like he also started, he had to use his brain more.
After the overall thing, he had to change up a little bit. So he's definitely approaching this situation better. So I trust that when he's out in the street, he's still keeping himself safe.
Yep.
But I can't, eventually we're going to get the true Deku Lemillion team up.
Yes.
We're gonna get that true team up, and that joint is gonna be so.
I hope so.
Now is a good time for it because what Denzel just said.
I want to see the comparison of where Lemillion saw him in the beginning to where he is now. Oh.
Mm-hmm. I think with this conclusion coming up, something big is gonna happen because why explain the whole UA, intricacies? Why have this whole now the people are okay with it, I guess. So now something
for the most part,
explosion.
I guess.
For the most part, but. Some discourse is gonna come very soon. It's settling down too much.
So what Denzel's talking about, and thank you for being here, Denzel. So I'm just gonna kind of read his comments.
Appreciate you, baby.
I love how chapter 1 is a callback here, where how Deku felt when All Might said he can become a hero, and how he's looking up to his wife. I know, right? It's beautiful. I love that so much. But he also says, I think where Izuku narrated a bit about becoming the world's greatest hero is his solo journey reflecting All Might's journey for 300 plus chapters, and now it's not just him. Exactly. I think that they are, not only is he accepting that, everybody else is accepting that because they know that they can't just leave it on one person, which is beautiful. I love that. And then he goes, and now it seems like his second half is going to be another 300 chapters about the story how they become the world's greatest heroes. I hope so. I truly hope so. Man,
I think they're getting rid of.
Good.
I think they're going to get rid of. I think that's a while ago, but I think this whole new generation is going to get rid of the whole Billboard heroes thing, celebrity of heroes, and just be heroes. Just worry about the spotlight. Don't buy endorsements.
People who want to be heroes can be heroes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's we still want you to learn how to use your powers responsibly, but if you're going to help people, you're going to help people.
All right, I will say this too. I don't while hero society will definitely change. I'm not going to pretend those who are still in it for the money and whatnot still won't be there. That's just,
that's any. Yeah, that's any.
It's still be there. But
they won't be given the spotlight like they have been in the past.
But I also feel like there might be this mentality where the normal citizens won't be as reliant on the heroes as they were, because that's what I think the biggest issue has been, is that these people have taken Hero Society for granted. They were like, oh yeah, we got heroes, we're always safe. And now they've been hit with reality, like, yo, what happens when the heroes are being assaulted and they can't do shit for us?
Well, and not even that. It's like I feel like now see heroes not just as heroes, but as people too.
Yeah.
So there won't be that full reliance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking forward to see how that looks like.
It's a fork society, so it's not like they can't do anything. You know, and we saw that like when Deku was going through the city, the humans were like, yeah, we
got
dropping up, like we got
it's
it.
like we have a threshold of what we can handle, but we have some of it.
Yeah.
And you know the great thing about it too is this is why I love My Hero Vigilantes.
Same.
Yes,
because while that's coming out monthly, it's the
It's
precursor.
bi-weekly.
It's bi-weekly now.
It's always been bi-weekly.
Oh, it always felt. Okay.
But not only that, it shows the street level.
Yo, and this is a precursor to My Hero Academia. Yet you're seeing like it's the parallels.
Yeah.
You're seeing like all the stuff we've been talking about My Hero Academia in terms of Hero Society. It's like, well, My Hero Vigilante is coming out, of course, because it's before him. But you're seeing a perfect example of how over-reliant, of how suspicious people are.
I mean, and not only that, it's just like, and how they can't always be everywhere.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
So these vigilantes are protecting their
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's just, I know Hirokoshi isn't right now, but he has been over.
Oh, he picked the perfect person.
He definitely did, and I love the work they're doing because again, just put them side by side, it's like a freaking great series.
So if you're not reading Vigilantes, once again, it's not going to be exactly what My Hero is, but it's very different.
It's a lot.
Give it a shot.
You will be following MC, who is as obsessed and as in love with All Might as Deku is, but they
learn different lessons at a similar pace.
And there's like less than 110 chapters.
It's almost reaching 100 chapters.
It's almost
it hasn't reached 100.
They have done so much in 100 chapters that you won't even believe it.
East to West Reviews, thank you for that $5 donation.
Thank you.
We've seen Stain lurking around the city. What do you guys think his role might be going forward? A stretch, but do you think he was listening to this?
I hope so.
I think all the
villains were. I think all the villains were. I feel like.
You think so?
I think UA is the spot that a lot of this stuff's going to go down.
Yeah.
So I think they're definitely paying attention. Definitely.
And we knew where Stain, yes, he was a villain, but it wasn't like he was like, yeah, I stand for what all the other villains are doing. Like, no, he had his own
agenda.
He
didn't even agree with Shikagi.
Stay living out there. This wouldn't be nothing if it wasn't for me.
Look, we did. We started all of this.
This is my whole fucking flow.
Exactly. He was like, this is what I've been talking about.
This shit, but y'all don't want to listen.
He's on the Drake like, this is look all we started. This is all because of us.
Look around.
Look what we done.
At this point, I need Stan to just be like, it's too late for all that lovey-dovey shit.
Like,
it's too late for all that.
They have more fans than what I feel like All Might had, to be honest.
I feel like he had about the same amount, to be honest.
Yeah, same amount. Yeah.
I really do. And that was evident. It's just that they weren't the people that we thought were the ideal folks.
So
like
Stan is definitely listening. Stan is definitely hearing this.
I really hope so.
And if anything, I feel like this is going to make him, because remember when we first had
him. For him to walk up with All Might and people be like,
we need that.
Yeah.
But remember, Stan looked at Deku and was like, I accept of you.
It's like he saw the
everybody else.
Deku.
Yeah. Everybody else, he's like, nah, y'all just don't get it. But with this one, I feel like he's looking at Ochaka, he's like, you get it.
You get it. And
you get it.
He's like, there are more of you now.
Yes.
And he's like, all right.
I can retire now.
Not saying that Stan is about to go full good guy, but he's gonna be like that anti-hero type.
I think Stan's gonna fade into the background.
Because there is maybe he might do like a curveball for help, or maybe like just protect Deku for that last minute kind of thing.
Anti-hero type character.
I mean, I think he might become All Might's like personal bodyguard for a hot minute.
Or the consultant, he might be consulting them on
Hey, keep in mind.
What to keep in society, hero
What
society,
if they make him a teacher?
I would love that.
I don't know about that.
We've seen crazier things happen in different series, bro. Yep.
No, I'm not saying that because I just don't see him wanting to teach kids. It's like,
I don't know about that. I'm just saying everything's possible. I feel like that He could absolutely be a teacher.
Aizawa hates teaching. He be sleep all
'Cause
the
I-
time. You don't want to teach your kids?
but no. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. This is
If he
another
could
reason why
help
you
mold
should read
The
My
other,
Hero Vigilantes, because
I mean,
you
yeah,
learned a lot more about Aizawa too, and it's like
well, I mean,
Aizawa
especially what he
understands.
went through. And I
Yeah,
feel like
I
Stain is
understand.
getting there. Stain also had this loss and like this reformation of what he thought was a hero when he met Deku.
Yeah.
I just don't. I like him if he's
There's a
going to
chance.
be involved. I still like him out there on the streets, or just for him to retire and be like, my work here is done, and fade back. Because I also feel like Stain is realistic. He's like, yo,
And
I
that's why
don't
he
need
would
any
be
of
a
your.
good teacher.
But I feel like I don't need to teach. I don't need your approval. I'm not looking for your forgiveness. This is
It's
what
like-
I was
And
about.
that's what I'm saying. That
satisfied.
that's what I'm thinking. He won't need that, but he could absolutely impart that knowledge onto a future hero.
Because it's like it's like a way.
Stain was a hero.
East to West says Stain gonna teach how to get away with murder.
Exactly. We all seen the show.
I love
Still a
it.
teacher. Still a teacher.
Yeah.
she wild, but she's still a teacher.
And she had a lot of knowledge, so it wasn't
Uh-huh.
like she just used it differently. It wasn't,
Exactly.
So,
Rudy, welcome to our
What up,
welcome.
champ?
We're talking about from My Hero right now.
Yeah,
Still.
but trying to get into the final thoughts, but like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a cool theory actually. Like, I had never really considered Stain being a teacher, but I absolutely could potentially see that happen
I could see
Uh-huh.
it.
when
We've
things are
seen-
the way that he wants them to be. Absolutely.
I feel like he would want to die as a hero. I
Doubt.
feel like, because like,
Doubt.
I don't see him sacrificing his life unless
Yeah.
it's absolutely necessary. But you mentioned about him possibly being bodyguard to All Might. Remember, Nadai said that had that vision that All Might is going to die, and his visions have been accurate.
Correct.
Like,
He told Lemillion he'll be alright. He's like, you'll be good. I will know.
Yeah.
He's like him now.
so I'm
I mean,
thinking
but
like.
remember he also said that he couldn't truly see Deku's future.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
Because
which
it was
is
broken.
fair, but he did see All Might. And if Stain is going to be a bodyguard, if Stain is going to sacrifice his life, it'll be to probably save All Might. If
Potentially.
that is still to act.
I mean, and it's with All Might. If and when he dies, I don't think it'll be the way Night Eye saw it.
yeah, no, it'll be different.
No.
Because
I have this weird feeling.
Night Eye did
that-
realize with Deku, he was
I
like,
have
hey,
this
I don't
very
always have it
strange
finalized.
feeling that All Might is going to die protecting Shigaraki.
Oh yeah.
I have this
ooh.
really weird feeling that that's what's going to happen. He will die
He
protecting
feels
Shigaraki.
responsible for
Yeah.
Shigaraki, low key. He
And
does.
him-
I can see it.
Mhm.
He feels responsible. What's his
Mhm.
name?
Gran
What's his name?
Torino?
Did Gran Torino felt
Mhm.
responsible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nana is his mentor, so of course he's gonna feel that.
Mhm.
You
So
know,
that's
connection.
that's this weird feeling that I have is he will die protecting Shigaraki from somebody who's literally out to kill him. And he's like, this kid doesn't deserve to die. We did this to this kid. essentially.
Especially since Shigaraki is still a fusion of Shigaraki and All for One.
Mhm,
So it's going to be
mhm.
that moment where he
Mhm.
appeals to Shigaraki,
My
but
body
then
just
All
moved
for
on
One
its
is
own.
going to be like, nah, like,
Mhm.
get the hell out, and that's what's going to happen. And I think if it goes that route, that's when Shigaraki is going to finally get that, like,
I mean, no,
power to break.
well, no, I feel like it gives him a moment of hesitation to let somebody actually save him, I think.
because
So-
I do feel like it's going to be, the final battle will be a Shigaraki Deku versus
Because if
All
you
for
think
One.
about it, there's only one person who I can think of that can separate the two of them. And that is our boy, Overhaul. Remember? He could do that. He could separate them physically.
but aren't they like inside mentally though?
Oh, that was so powerful that Spicy died.
Oh no!
She was like, "Oh no, I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready for this at all. This
Oh
is
no!
crazy."
That's too overwhelming.
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying. Remember, they're like literally fused together
Yeah.
via the quirk, and I feel like Overhaul's quirk could circumvent that. So it's going to take everybody. It's going to take everybody to fix this. Straight up. But no, I absolutely think if and when All Might dies, it'll be protecting Shigaraki. Because I feel like that would be so goddamn powerful. Oh my god, that'd be nuts. But Horikoshi always surprises me. Like I said, this is just a thought. But he always surprises me with what he's going to do. Who knows what he's going to do with All Might? I'm curious. Maybe he will become Deku's new dad. Who knows? I mean, his mama out there. I mean, we still got the Deku dad thing. I mean, it's still technically something he could use. I doubt that he's going to use it this far, like just personally, because it's like, why introduce him now unless he's like a really key player into some of the weird stuff that's happening? But I don't know. I just don't know. Well, we're gonna get Spicy back. What happened?
I think she might have internet issue connection.
Good old internet issues. Yeah, boy. I mean, you know, we all don't love the internet, so.
So actually, I was wondering, like, could the people have heard this much earlier when All Might was still around saving the day? Would he have accepted more help?
None of this would have happened if All Might was still saving the day. Things would just continue to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think. You know what I'm saying?
It would get worse, but what if All Might also heard her speech too?
I hope he did.
Yeah, I hope he did too. I know it's like it's too late for him.
Like, I think he realizes I didn't teach them that. They learned this.
Exactly.
And so that's what I'm hoping we get straight up. Like, bro, I need that. I need All Might to learn this as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like All Might's been learning a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, Deku read him for filth. Bakugo read him for filth. Like, you know.
I'm also glad that Bakugo knew when to shut up.
Yeah. Again,
that shows character growth. That shows incredible growth on his part. That boy, he knew when to shut up and let everybody else speak.
But you remember, people were upset. They're like, no,
shut up.
I
don't care about that. Like, that's true growth. As a leader, you know when to shut up and let other people lead.
I think people forget that when My Hero started, it was never just a primary MC. Like, it always played as if we would have two protagonists, maybe three with Todoroki. Although I admit, I feel like Hirokoshi.
We got to get back to finish out Todoroki's story.
He's been put on the back burner, but Deku and Bakugo have always been at the forefront. So having Bakugo behave as a protagonist as he is, as one of the main protagonists as he is, of course we expect character growth. I don't know why. Again, you know, I don't mean to harp on this, but I don't understand why people just seem to be surprised and be like, "Oh, that's not fair." You know, that invalidates. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Like, you mean to tell me throughout these years and all the experiences that they went through, Bakugo should still remain the same? After all
just because you scared to grow,
personally went through.
Just because you are afraid to grow as a person doesn't mean this fake person.
Did you forget that Bakugo was kidnapped? Bakugo was recruited to be a villain because they were like, "Hey, you're like
you just like us." And he's like, "Hey, nope."
Bakugo feeling responsible for like, All Might being done.
He said, "How dare you stereotype me? Just because I act a certain way don't mean that I am a certain way."
And y'all upset. Y'all, you see, she came back. She might be ready to slander Bakugo or to show him some love. She came back at the right time. She's like, "Yeah, I need to talk about these people talking about Bakugo can't have growth." Welcome back, Spicy. But that John, it's just, My Hero has been, every week I look forward to the chapters for sure. I do look forward to it.
Same. It's always something that I know I'm going to enjoy every week. It's like that. It's that restaurant you go to and you know that you're always going to have a good meal every time you go. That's what My Hero is for me. Every time I read a chapter, I know I'm going to have a good time.
Once a week. Always a perfect timing too. Like once a week.
That life. But I guess since Spicy's coming back, I guess we're ready to give final thoughts on this. On I guess everything we're ready.
Yeah, we talked about everything already. Denzel said, imagine once One for All involves, we get a danger sense in sort of a similar level to observation hockey.
I don't know what that last part means, but yeah, I feel you. I'm catching up on One Piece, y'all.
They all pretty similar, but I think Spidey sense, because Spidey low-key had the thought of a little bit of foresight in his, so I would compare it. So just because some people may not know hockey, observation hockey.
Back before the Sharingan turned into something completely ridiculous, that's all it was. Mm-hmm. It was just seeing ahead a little bit, like anticipating the movement. Yeah.
So I can see Danger Sense evolving, because right now is if you have malicious intent, he can sense you.
It's what kept him awake every single time when he goes to sleep too. Mm-hmm. It's like he wakes up because of Danger Sense, and
he even talked about it when Class 1A was trying to catch her. He was like, I don't feel any malicious intent. Like, after that was him waking up, his waking him up again type thing. I really like that.
Oh man,
So yeah, my final thoughts on everything that we reviewed just thus far. Black Clover, like we mentioned earlier, shout out to all our supporters and whatnot. Let us know how y'all feel about how often we should review that. This chapter was just like it was said. Okay, we have our highs and then we just go back to base.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of exposition, but I'm excited for what it will bring us moving forward.
Agree.
My hero writing has been phenomenal, just the emotional aspect, and it's like, yo, we still have the big event to get to, but you're taking us there in a very
Yeah.
patient, emotional route that allows us to really pay attention to the growth of other characters aside from
Mm-hmm.
just Deku and the main players. Like we're seeing other characters show how they've progressed throughout this whole time. Because Ochako has been in the back burner for a while, so now we're seeing her mature. Because, like you mentioned, Spicy, Ochako had a different motivation to be a hero. It wasn't really like, oh, I want to save people. It's more so like
I
I
want to
want
save
to
the
like
hero
help my
saving people.
family.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
originally it was more so about her family. Like, no, my family doesn't have money. I want to be able to provide for them. Not that I'm money hungry, but I want to be able
Exactly.
to make my parents proud. And now it's more so
Exactly.
like, hey, she remembered what originally got her excited about
Yes.
heroes. So
Yeah.
I love what Hirokoshi's doing that with us. I feel like the next couple of chapters we're going to be seeing more characters and like their own progression. It was a great week for Shonen Jump. For me, I love One Piece. I love My Hero Vigilantes. In terms of my favorite chapter, I'm just gonna mention it now. It was My Hero Vigilantes for sure that came out a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
That chapter was gas.
That was gas. It
I'm so
was.
excited. Like it's boy the crawler boy, that boy's special. Like
I love the analogy of it too. It's like, oh, you
you know
just
what I'm hoping for? Just because Hirokoshi is overseeing that too and like has his blessing, I would like to see the crawler show up at some point in here in the main My Hero. So I would lose my mind. I
Waiting
lose my
on it. I
mind.
mean, he basically has Ultra Instinct, so I'm ready for it. They need our boy. They need our boy.
They do. Like imagine it's like, yo, Aizawa's like, I know someone I can call in to help.
Right? He's like, I know. We was like, we need more help, and he's like, I got somebody. Give me a minute.
Let's
It's
bring
been a
him
while.
to
I
the
need, you, I need you to
legend.
come out of retirement.
But like, but I'm a dad now. Nope, this world needs you right now.
Hey,
That's them kids.
It's like, no. You want them kids to have a teacher? I need you here right now.
Yeah.
It was like, you have a point. Let's go.
So
Right.
I'm hoping it. I'm not saying it will. Who knows? It doesn't need to, but it's just exciting. So My Hero Vigilantes is my favorite chapter of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I was overall satisfied. I was satisfied overall.
Big say. Spicy, what do you think of everything you read today?
That's the thing. Guys, I've been reading a lot of comics. I've been reading a lot of manga
Good.
lately, but
I'm proud of you.
but what I am caught up in, what I've read, JJK and My Hero are like neck and neck, I guess. What they do, it made me feel excited. So I like those two chapters this week. Then again, chapter number 8 comes out in 4 days, and I may change because what's going on right now. That's why I wish they would line up on Sundays, because it's like we wait 4 days. There's like so much to sit on with chapter number 8, but right now it's definitely My Hero and JJK. But yeah, because I feel excited. I felt excited reading these chapters.
That's
so.
what it's about. It's like, reading stuff that we enjoy, bro. Why would I read something that I hate week to week?
Exactly. No, exactly, man. That's why if I drop it, I'll just drop it. But if you can keep me tuning in every week, then you're doing a good job.
So, Sam, I hope you don't mind me going next. But,
go for it,
right? I look forward to New Manga Sunday every week. Like it's one of my it's one of my favorite things that I look forward to, literally at the start of every week. And it's because I really enjoy these stories and these characters and see where they go. And like, yes, I talk about my frustrations with Black Clover, but I keep reading it because I really like it. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I tweeted about it earlier. Red Hood is one of my new favorites. Like it is now clicked for me.
So much potential.
Especially for my girl Debonair. Oh my. But no, I love Red Hood. Like, I love the story that they're creating. It's wild. It's different enough and like these characters are all interesting. Especially I need to know more about these witch hexes. Like I need to know there's not who's the witch that's hexing everybody. And then there was a surprise last chapter.
Yo, Grandpa Mayor, what's going on?
Excuse me. And then
I need to read that Red Hood because last chapter was God.
Talks about story, and I'm like,
are you going for? Are you breaking fourth wall or something?
Like you're metagaming your own story, and I'm like, wait, elaborate on that. Say more. So I'm like, I love it. So that was technically my favorite chapter of the week. But everything I read is just so good. Black Clover, I mean, like, we learned a little bit more, but now we're going to finally get to a different part to maybe potentially understand why something happened. My hero, like, so this is learning about the people in the world and how they're tied into this, and that they also, their opinions matter and like, they influence the heroes just as much as the heroes influence them, which is a really important part that we don't get in a lot of things. Then, JJK, like I said, JJ can explain the doors off of a house, and I would be all there for it.
got me researching doorknobs and different kinds of doors.
Like different kinds of locks and what they mean. Like, man, I love the way that man's brain works and how he explains things in his story. I love the detail. Amazing. And then just, in general, this stuff is fun. We read it because it's fun. We talk about it because we enjoy talking about it with other people. I love doing this with y'all. It's so much fun to just talk about this with other people who like it as much as I do, if not more. So, y'all, give me more of it. But Sam, how you feeling, BB?
Okay, so my hero was definitely in the top there because of its emotional chapter, and it's built so well, and everything connected so perfectly, and it's like what we always wanted and what we always for. Definitely connected there. JJK gives you that enough information where like it can be useful, it cannot, but you don't know because that's how D&D works too. It's us like it works so really well with information where this could be very useful or it could be pretty useless, but you won't find out until much later or until we get into the Culling Game arc officially in a way. But who knows? We'll get there eventually, but these guys are the top for a reason, and you want to see how complex and workable they can use their curse abilities, and you are there for the information of what he can explain, what he can tell, and how like over the head information what you would never expect this certain powers to be used in. And another contender, another manga that really stood out for me this Sunday, besides Red Hood, it was also Undead Unluck. Because what they did with the abilities of Unstoppable,
almost there.
Yeah.
It's like and you know me, I love Speedster, but like this time he wants to like, all right, go, run, Barry, run, go. Like literally, we have a character. It's like I never really gone this fast before, and like now I have no choice but to in order for us to win in this fight. And I'm for it. It was a great last panel in the back where like you're not going anywhere until I have faith in my partner, and not until he can move the speed of light. I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. Definitely it's great. Undead Unlock has been really good too. Something that I would put into the list of we should talk about more on for sure. I think that's
that's it.
Yeah.
Hey. Thank y'all so much for watching. Denzel, thank you for being here. Champ, thank you for being here. Carlos, thank you for being here. In East to West, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you for being here. Anybody who was just kind of chilling.
Denzel,
Animal, I saw you in there earlier. Like, thank y'all for just lurking and having a good time with us. We appreciate y'all being here regardless.
Abe, Spicy, can you give us your plugs?
Yes, give them the plugs.
Oh yeah, you can follow me on social media, SpicyLadyEntertainment on Twitter, SpicyLENT on Twitter, SpicyLadyEntertainment on Instagram.
That's right.
You can follow me on Twitch, SpicyLadyGaming. I stream every Friday, Saturday, 8:30 p.m. EST, up until whenever. And starting next week, what else? Podcast is currently on hiatus, but we should be coming back soon, and we have a giveaway coming out soon for that we'll talk about later. But yeah, definitely go check that out. Yeah, I do think it's coming soon. I have announcements to make soon, so yeah, can't wait.
Links in the live chat, guys. Links in the live chat.
Y'all know who it is. It's La Bururani Bulapa, Son of Darkside, the Jin of Apocalypse, King variant, all that jazz. And whatnot. Y'all can find me basically anywhere you find all these fine people. My link tree is in the chat, in the description. Head over to that. I had the Osane podcast. If you love talking about sports and culture, that's the way to go. I'm part of Inside the Mind of a Blurred. You know, that is, we talk about everything and anything: comics, video games, anime, manga. Check out MemoryNK Mixer. Check out, of course, Anime Lately. Check out Careful for Spoilers. As she already gave her plug, check out SpicyLadyEntertainment, Spicy Lady Gaming. I'm just blessed to be able to work with all these content creators. They trust me to help alongside them, to help represent them, and I appreciate that so much. So,
appreciate you, Calvin. You
hey,
do a lot.
you know,
You do a lot.
You do
I love
like
what I
Chad,
do.
he's being modest, but he does a lot.
He does a lot,
He
guys.
does a lot.
Yeah.
I love what I do. But you know, I'm excited for all the things that are going to be coming our way as we wrap up 2021. Like I mentioned on Careful for Spoiler, I'm in new digs. Things are coming into fruition that I've been hoping for most of this year. Y'all go. I have a Twitch at Prince_ALawal. You're going to see me very, very, very soon. You're going to see me very soon. Just need to finish settling. I still haven't unpacked my stuff. Like I still haven't gone there.
I
I
feel
can see
that.
the closet's still empty.
Like somebody
feel
else that we know. I understand.
The
I
only
feel
thing in the
that.
closet right now is my shoes. Is all my shoes that I have in there. I haven't even taken my clothes out, but
I mean,
hey,
shoes are
appreciate
important.
y'all.
And shoes can be
Yeah.
very
Shoes are
expensive.
Shoes are.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all know where to find me. Y'all know how to find me. Continue
Links in the live
supporting,
chat,
continue
guys.
Showing love. Appreciate y'all for real.
Hey,
Great.
well, hey, it's me, it's RayApollo. You know how it works. I do have some good news for y'all because I finally settled on a way to get y'all my thoughts on things in a timely manner. Yes, look, I love to record videos. It's just I don't have time to edit all the videos in addition to everything else that I do.
Mhm.
So as much as I would love to have kept giving y'all YouTube videos, I don't have the time, and so I'm bringing the website back. And it's just going to be blog posts of my thoughts of every chapter that I read. That's where you'll see my thoughts on One Piece as I'm continuing to read it. So my thoughts on ALawal Park are going to be going up this week on the website. I'll tweet out when that's live, but yeah, so catching up on Mashal, so thoughts on Mashal will be going up there as well. When I catch up on Undead Unluck, those will be like, so just everything we're
They
reading.
introduced
will be...
Adobe. Natural introduced Adobe.
I did see that, which is hilarious. But it's like, so what's like, that's when you can follow my journey and all these things. And then occasionally, I'm not saying I'm not doing videos, but occasionally I will be doing videos. It's just, I'm probably going to have to I'm going to have to get an editor. That's the only way I'm going to be able to get y'all stuff consistently, is to have an editor. Like, I've realized that, but, editors ain't cheap.
They're not.
So, we'll get to
They're
that.
worth it. They're worth
I'm just gonna say this at the top.
They're worth it.
Currently about to purchase a PC because I use laptop, so I'm shout out to Sam, JB, and some other people who've been keeping their eyes out.
Still
so
looking.
within probably this month, I will be purchasing a PC. I taught myself how to be an audio editor with some assistance from someone who doesn't really deserve recognition. But everything is kind of self-taught. So video editing is going to be the next thing I teach myself. So Ray, and anybody else, don't worry. I'm going to be available for that.
I love video editing. I just don't have time.
Same. That's why I haven't made any YouTube videos because it's like I'm very particular about stuff. So
I'll take care of that for you. I'll take care. Just give me some time. Give me some time to get myself ready to teach myself what I need to teach myself, and then we keep it all in the family if we can. So I got you.
Really good investment.
Yeah,
it's a really good investment.
Yeah,
it is both. So
I'm very excited. The purchase is going to be made this month. I'm very excited.
No rush. I got you. No rush. I got you.
If you haven't liked the stream, let us get that 20 likes. We appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
But Sam, plugs for you and Anime Lately and the rest of the gang.
Guys, you already know. You can follow me at SamTheMangaMan on all my social medias, but always follow
AKA
Anime
the
Lately.
Watcher.
Yes, I watch. I see things. I do things. I'm not supposed to interfere, yet I still do, but still, okay. But definitely watch Anime Lately, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Always comment down below your favorite chapter, your thoughts of My Hero, Black Clover, JJK, everything love, or even the other manga chapter that you will find favorites on from Viz or social media on Viz.com or Shonen Jump. Also, thank you guys. We love your support. Remember to like the video again, like Ray said. And we always love you guys in the live chat. Thank you guys for coming in, roll by, donations, and everything. We love your thoughts. We love to talk in the live chat. We always love this conversation. We love this discussion. And we couldn't do this any more better without you guys. So thank you guys again for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
By the way, y'all in Louisiana down there, be safe. It's
Yes.
getting wild,
Yes,
man.
yes.
So y'all be safe down there. All right. Take care.